Digimon Story games need to improve. After I finished Digimon Story Time Stranger and Pokemon Legends CA, I am more convinced that Digimon Story games need a lot of work. They need a lot of improvements. The formula is very simplistic. The formula needs more depth. They need to do what Pokemon developers have been doing through years and years of work. They need to stick to a formula and they need to improve it. So far, Digimon Story games have been constantly changing their formula for no reason. They have been changing good systems of past games for worse ones, and that is not the way to do things. The reason why Pokemon is very successful is because they have stuck to a formula. They know how to do things. They made this successful formula, and throughout these years they have been constantly adding on top of it or changing little bits, but never changing the whole concept. And they reach a very solid and fun formula, and that is why, even though Pokemon Legends CA is a very mediocre game in many aspects, it is still a fun game, even more fun than Digimon Story Time Stranger. Digimon Story games, especially recent ones, try to focus too much on the story, and you are going to say, well, it's Digimon Story, so of course they are going to focus on the story. Yes, but the problem is, we are talking about gaming here. We're not talking about shows, anime, movies. We are talking about video games. And if you're trying to make a video game, your video game needs to have gameplay. And this gameplay, if it's as simplistic as it was in Digimon Story Time Stranger, then your game is not going to be very successful. Now, Digimon Story Time Stranger was kind of successful because it was very astroturfed by shields, by fanatics, by streamers. Hell, even myself kind of did that because I was very excited for the game. But after I played the game, I was very disappointed with it. And I think it's normal to change your opinion. So I changed my mind about the game. I changed my thoughts and how I felt about the game after I played it. And I think that is normal. What is not normal is that you're anticipating a game and you think the game is good. And you think the game is going to be good, because you don't even know if the game is going to be good or not. Then you play it and it turns out that the game is not as good as you thought it was. Then the natural way of things is that you change your mind. If you don't do that, then you are a fanatic. And I am not going to be a blindfolded fanatic. I don't owe any loyalty to Digimon fanatics, to Bandai, to Digimon as a franchise. I like it and I prefer it to Pokemon, but I do believe that Digimon needs to be better. If it wants to compete face to face with Pokemon, it needs to do way better than it has been doing recently. After I played Digimon Story Time Stranger, I noticed that the game was extremely linear. The gameplay was really bare bones. The only good things I can say about the gameplay was that the combat felt good to play, the music was good, so the combat was enjoyable, the sound effects, the abilities look really good, the graphics of course are really good, the story is good, it's a good story, but the problem is that the game feels very simplistic. It feels like it's made for retards. It's very easy, they even give you constant pointers to where to go, as if you somehow can get lost in this extremely linear quote-unquote world. Contrary to Pokemon Legends CA, where yes, you're in a very mediocre looking city. It looks like shit. I have seen PS2 games that look better than that garbage, yet the game is fun. You explore this shitty looking city and it's fun to do it. Then you go to the battles at night, you rank, you get these tickets to participate in these ranked matches, and it's really fun. The game loop is really fun. Even though it's somewhat repetitive, it feels more free than this extremely linear game of Digimon Story Time Stranger. Now, it's not only that the game is extremely linear, it's also that the systems of the game are stupid. The most problematic aspect of it is the way you increase the stats of your Digimon. The farm is basically just a place that you put your Digimons in, and you basically just do a transaction where you exchange money for stats. It's garbage. That is not gameplay. There is no gameplay involved in that stupid transaction. It's lazy. Contrary to Pokemon, where you can and have to increase your IVs and your EVs, and that grind involves gameplay, involves the player. In this game, in Pokemon Legends CA, you can't breed your Pokemon, but there are ways to increase your IVs. It's not ideal either, unlike mainline Pokemon games, but there is still somewhat gameplay attached to the fact that you're increasing your Pokemon stats. For increasing EVs, the usual thing that you do is to grind the correct Pokemons to increase those EVs. And yes, you can buy certain products that you give to your Pokemon and those increase your EVs. That also can be seen as a transaction, but I do believe that is more immersive and it has more meaning to it than just put your Digimon on the farm, put the biggest training you can find, and then pay for the training to end. It's very lazy. Then there is also the catch mechanic. In Pokemon, whenever you catch a Pokemon, whenever you see a new Pokemon, you feel the urge, you feel the need, you want to catch that new motherfucker. You want that new motherfucker, you want that new Pokemon, especially if you see an alpha or a shiny. In Digimon, you don't have that. In Digimon, you don't feel that, because the scan mechanic does everything for you, and there are also no rare Digimons. Every Digimon is the fucking same, so there is no gameplay involved. Again, why Digimon story games are doing that? Why are they removing player agency, player participation from the game? Why are you making systems that do everything for the player? The scan mechanic needs to go. It's garbage. If Digimon story games and similar games that are turn-based are about catching Digimon and want to be somewhat similar but not identical to Pokemon, then there needs to be a catch mechanic, a good catching mechanic. Digimon World 2 already had a decent catch mechanic. Now, maybe it wasn't ideal, but it was much better than the shit it is the scan mechanic. Now, previous Digimon story games, for example Cyber Sleuth, you couldn't max your stats, every stat on every Digimon, which meant every Digimon was unique. Now, in this game, in Digimon Story Time Stranger, every Digimon can have 99.9999999 stats on every fucking stat. Why do we need that? We don't. That removes uniqueness from each Digimon. It makes every Digimon feel cheap. In Cyber Sleuth, the maximum amount of stats that you could distribute on a Digimon was 200 points. For example, if you had a Digimon with 800 in attack and you wanted to focus that Digimon into attack, probably you will put those 200 points into attack, but then you wouldn't be able to put anything else in any other stat. It was more like a traditional RPG. It made more sense. Limited amount of stats to put into each category, and then you will decide how you will distribute these stats in your Digimons. Pokemon is the same. They also have limits to the EVs. So it makes more sense, because that way you don't have every Digimon being the same. There is also the fact that you can transform each Digimon on every other Digimon. That is really absurd. If you have a team of 6 Digimon, then that's all you need. Because with those 6 Digimons, you can make every other Digimon. You can change them and swap them whenever you want. Oh, but you need to level them up, as if that was any difficult. It's really easy. I believe I didn't play that game, but my girlfriend did. It was Digimon Dawn and Dusk, and she tells me that on that game, if you wanted to switch the race of your Digimon, you had to grind some experience with that Digimon from each race. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to change as easily as in Cyber Sleuth or Digimon Story Time Stranger. I don't think that being that easy to switch from one Digimon to the other is good for the games. I don't think so. It cheapens the whole experience. It cheapens Digimons. It makes them less unique. I don't think Digimon needs to transform into Pokemon, because that's absurd. Digimon World 2 wasn't really Pokemon. It had many unique characteristics, like the buggy, how you will customize your buggy and how you will interact with the maps with this buggy. How will you destroy mines, blocks, certain aspects of the map that will block you from progressing the map. I don't think Digimon needs to transform itself into Pokemon, but I believe that there was more creativity back then. Right now they are kind of making Digimon games just to make them. I think they are being lazy. Another thing that they could have done is that they could have brought the decision making of Digimon Survive. That would have been an improvement to Digimon Story games. If Digimon Story games had actual decision making consequences, then suddenly you have replayability, which Digimon Story games really lack. They lack replayability. Oh, but there is New Game Plus. New Game Plus is garbage. It's trash. I already explained all of this that I am saying in my review. That is why my review is very lengthy. It's long because I needed to talk about every aspect that was wrong in Digimon Story Time Stranger. New Game Plus is garbage. Your Digimons can't get stronger. If you already maxed every Digimon, you will gain nothing from doing the New Game Plus. Your Digimons can't get stronger. You can't increase stats further than 90, 90, 99, 999. You can't do that. There are no better abilities. You don't get new abilities that are much powerful. You don't get new equipment. You don't get shit from New Game Plus. All you get is enemies with inflated stats and a chore. Basically, it becomes a chore. The base difficulty of the game was baby mode. There was no semblance of difficulty throughout the game, and I played the game on hard. Now, I went and played Pokemon Legends CA, and the game wasn't super hard, but also wasn't a cakewalk. Now, going back, if they actually implemented decision making in Digimon Story games, that would be great. That would improve the formula a ton. This is why I prefer Digimon World games, the ones that emulate the virtual pet, because those games have worked with their systems and they have improved them. They have a very solid formula. They feel more like actual games. They feel more consistent. They feel better overall. Digimon Story games feel very cheap, feel very lazy, feel very rushed, constantly changing. I think these developers really need to go back and see what good things previous Digimon World games did, like Digimon World 2 and Digimon World 3. Surprisingly, there is a ton of people that don't like Digimon World 2. I think it is because Digimon World 2 from Digimon World 1 was a big change, probably make a lot of people disappointed, which goes to show that Digimon has been changing their formula a ton from the beginning, and I don't think that is good for the franchise. In my opinion, Digimon World 2 is a great game, and it's very underrated because people are retards. Basically, most people are retards. Once they are set on an idea, they are not going to change it because they are dumb fucks. They are not like people like me, that we can have an idea and then we can change that idea if something makes us change that idea. No, these NPCs don't change their mind. They are set in stone. They are fucking idiots, and sadly that is the vast majority of people. But Digimon World 2 is a really good game and has many good things that could have been brought back into the genre. Same with Digimon World 3. I don't really like Digimon World 3 a lot, but I do see the good parts of Digimon World 3 are really good. Like the card minigame of Digimon World 3 was miles better than the garbage they implemented in Digimon Story Time Stranger. So Digimon Story games can be way better than they are right now. If you, as a collective, as a blindfolded fanatic collective, as a cult, praise Digimon Story Time Stranger blindfoldedly, all you're going to do is make the franchise worse, is make the franchise keep being stagnant. If you want that, go ahead, but I don't want that. I want Digimon games to become better. And if you want something to become better, you want to make criticism. And if you can't handle criticism, you're in a fucking cult, and nobody should listen to cultists. There is also the riding aspect. Why do we have riding if it doesn't serve any purpose other than go faster? Digimons even become smaller when you ride them. Why? Why the fuck? Digimon Story Time Stranger is like a game that goes 2 steps forward and then 3 steps backwards. I don't know why they do this. Anybody that doesn't see how disappointing this game is really a blindfolded fanatic. It really is. Now, you can say, oh, this is the first time they implement that. Okay, but the other systems in the game don't really inspire me a lot of faith in them. Maybe they could use the mounting mechanic in a better way in further titles. That would be good. But seeing how the other systems are made, it doesn't inspire me a lot of confidence. So go back and see what previous Digimon games did, specifically the turn-based games. See what worked on those previous games and try to implement it on the new formula of Digimon Story games. Go back and see what made previous Digimon Story games good, like Cyber Sleuth, like Dawn and Dusk. You need to reward the player for playing your game. If there is no catching mechanic, if there is no rare Digimons, if everything can be the same, if Digimon basically aren't unique enough, there is no reward. You need to improve that. Now, how about you implement decision making from Digimon Survive? That will be great. That will improve the formula a ton. But for this to be true, for this to become reality, it needs a ton of work. and I don't know if the Digimon developers are willing to put the effort. You have an audience. You already saw that there is a ton of people that want a good monster collecting game, monster capture game, collecting, see? That is a hint for you to get rid of that fucking scanning mechanic. It's garbage. Get rid of the fucking every Digimon can become every other Digimon. Get rid of that shit. Change it. Reward the player. Reward their efforts. And that reminds me, don't block fucking Digivolutions. The agent rank system is great. It's really good that the player can progress with their Digimons. But don't fucking block evolutions with that shit, with anything. If I am a player and I want to grind, I should be free to do so. Why the fuck do you care? It's a single player game. Let me play my games the way the fuck I want. If I want to grind my ass off and get megas very early into the game, give me the freedom to do so. I don't want developers to tell me how should I play my games. This is a single player game. Stop doing this shit. You have an audience. Digimon Story Time Stranger on Steam almost reached 90k players. Almost. It almost was as successful as Metaphor Refutation. It was short for like 1k players. So there is an audience. There are a lot of people that were now exposed to Digimon and they liked what they played. So you have two options now. The first option is to be lazy, to just do the bare minimum, to just do another Digimon story game like Time Stranger, basically copy paste every fucking system because it was successful. Why wouldn't you do that and be lazy? Do that. I will predict that if you do that, Digimon is going to be once again going back to the shadow run. But you can also do the other thing, which is put a fucking effort. Try to improve the gameplay. Try to make it better. Go back and see what made previous games great. Go back and see what ideas of previous games you can implement into this formula. Try to implement decision making like in Digimon Survive. If it's about the story, make it about the fucking story. Make it about decision making. Put an effort and then you will see. That is what the developers of Palworld did. They put an effort. They delivered on what people wanted. If you use Digimon story games as a lazy way to basically tell a movie, to basically present a show, an anime with extra steps, Digimon is going back into the shadow run. Don't do that. Those are your options. Digimon story games are really mediocre. They need to improve. And my other problem is that if Bandai saw the success of this game, what if they all of a sudden stop making Digimon World games, the virtual pet type games? That will fucking suck. Like really bad. Imagine if they suddenly drop the entire virtual pet formula for this garbage linear piece of shit. Fuck that. If you want to play a really good Digimon game with solid formula, go play any of the virtual pet like Digimon World 1, Digimon Redigitize the Code on the 3DS, you need a translation patch for that one, and Digimon World Next Order, which is on Steam. And you will see why I am making criticism of Digimon Story formula, because it needs the criticism. Digimon Story games are not working. They are not working. They are being made basically as a visual novel or a story or a movie game, and I don't like that shit. I play video games for the gameplay. Video games need gameplay, and the gameplay of Digimon Story Time Stranger is really mediocre. If you want to compete with Pokemon, if you want to even surpass Pokemon, you can do it. Digimon is a great franchise. Don't waste it. Don't fucking waste it with fucking movie games.